You have kids coming in and Dylan and Shedeur that not lived in shotgun, but you could basically say they lived in shotgun. You know, there's maybe a few clips we can find of them getting under center, but not much. And then to transition from that to what we're going to ask them to do, you know, a lot of these guys have not regularly turned their back from the defense, and picking that kind of stuff up. How much harder is that transition than maybe people realize, if it is?
No, you said it, and you're using our language to a T. That's what we talk about. It's tough to turn your back on the defense as you depart from center. You make a great play fake, and then you want to find out what you missed when you get to the top of your drop. That's high degree of difficulty, graduate level stuff for quarterbacks, and so you need turns.
I think it should be Shedeur from day one. When we had Mark Sanchez in New York as a rookie, he started from day one. Things worked out. We had a couple of years of really good success. But if I'm Cleveland, Joe Flacco is a great backup. He's going to be 40. I would have Dylan Gabriel compete with Shedeur. I'm assuming that Shedeur will beat him out. I think he has more ability. And by the end of the season, the Cleveland Browns, Christine, have to know what they have in Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. Look, Kenny Pickett just hasn't worked out. He's been a little bit of a journeyman. Maybe you trade him at the end of training camp. But to me, job 1, 2, and 3 is you need to know what you have in Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. And I would play those guys right away, let them have a competition. And in my view, Shedeur has more ability, and I assume he'd be the guy.
Shedeur Sanders is officially the talk of the town in Cleveland. From media buzz to locker room whispers, the hype is real, and it's only getting louder. Some are already calling him the best quarterback talent the Browns have had in years. And the calls for him to be declared the first choice QB are growing stronger by the day. Bill Musgrave, Cleveland's offensive assistant, didn't hold back when asked about Shedeur's potential. He praised the young QB's raw talent and intelligence, but made it clear adapting to the shotgun-heavy system will be the key. Shedeur, a very talented guy, Musgrave said, but he'll have to get comfortable operating from the shotgun consistently. That's going to be crucial for how we play, and that's where the debate starts. Fans want excitement, they want a leader, and most of all, they want a winner. With veterans like Joe Flacco and younger options like Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel on the roster, the competition is fierce. But Shedeur's performance in OTAs and minicamp, let's just say he's turning heads for all the right reasons.
It's going to be a hard path. It is going to be an extremely hard path, but it can be done by the way he plays and balls out, and with a little luck on your side. So you got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur, right? You still got Deshaun Watson coming off of injury. So reps-wise is already going to be limited for the young fella. So you're going to have very limited reps to really, truly show what you can do.
Shedeur has been nothing short of electric during preseason preparations. According to many inside and outside the organization, he's not just holding his own, he's standing out. Despite being a rookie, he's being rated as highly as any first-team quarterback in the league. That's not hype, that's performance. OTAs, his throws have been sharp, his timing precise, and his decision-making in 1v1 drills has drawn praise from coaches and players alike. He's showing poise beyond his years and the kind of football IQ that can't be taught. What's more, his ability to create an overload on one side of the field is adding a new layer of complexity to Cleveland's offense. His presence alone forces defenses to shift, opening up new possibilities for offensive play calling. If he's included in the first team, the Browns might be unlocking a whole new level of their playbook. The question isn't just if Shedeur will be QB1, it's how soon. Former NFL wide receiver James Jones didn't mince words when asked about Shedeur Sanders. He sees him as the undisputed future starter for the Cleveland Browns. But he also made it clear there's a process Shedeur has to follow. According to Jones, the first step is simple but critical. He has to show up and show out during his preseason appearances. That's his first stage, Jones said. He's got to let the coaches, the fans, and most importantly, the locker room know he belongs. The second step, opportunity. Jones emphasized that Shedeur has to be ready to seize the moment if it comes, whether that's due to a dip in form from a current starter or an injury. When that door cracks open, Jones added, you don't knock, you kick it in. So, while the talent is undeniable and the momentum is building, the path to QB1 is one Shedeur has to walk with patience, preparation, and hunger. The spotlight's already on him. Now it's about what he does with it.
They went to work. When you get your opportunity, however this opportunity may present itself, when you get those reps, you have to make the most of those opportunities. So how he gets on the field is showing, hey, man, you got an old veteran quarterback, right, that's probably not going to win you a Super Bowl in Joe Flacco, and you've seen me ball out in preseason. That's the first step. All right, the second step is once you get into the regular season and you make this football team, you either need these dudes to play bad. When I say these dudes, I mean Kenny Pickett, because I think you're going to be better than Dillon Gabriel. You need Kenny Pickett to play bad or, God forbid, have an injury, and that is how he will get on the football field and start a game. But I think this is a uphill battle. He has to play well, start number one. And to start a game, it's going to have to be some injuries, or it's going to have to be some quarterbacks in front of him playing really, really bad.
On the other hand, Colin Cowherd brought receipts to the debate, and they all point to Shedeur Sanders. Citing statistics from the OTAs, Cowherd argued that Shedeur has been the most efficient quarterback in the entire Browns camp. Completion percentage, pocket presence, and decision-making, Shedeur is checking every box. According to Cowherd, this isn't about potential anymore. It's about production, and based on what we've seen so far, Shedeur isn't just keeping up, he's setting the standard. In Cowherd's words, Cleveland shouldn't wait. If you've got the guy, play the guy. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is the guy.
Despite the fact that Shedeur Sanders had the fewest attempts, he was the most efficient and most productive with the fewest reps. So the quarterback tracker for those radio audience members, Flacco was 9 for 14 and a touchdown. Pickett, 9 for 16, no touchdown. Dillon Gabriel, 11 of 16, 2 touchdowns and a pick. And Sanders, 7 of 9, 3 touchdowns, no picks. This, Justin, I've seen enough. I'm calling it a wrap. The Herd newsroom is calling it in Ohio by a landslide. Shedeur Sanders should be starting. We are calling Ohio.
Adding more fuel to the conversation, a recent report has shed light on another key detail in the Browns quarterback competition. Dillon Gabriel, another rising QB in the mix, is reportedly not performing up to expectations in the OTAs. A local reporter covering the camp stated, while Shedeur Sanders has been turning heads, Dillon just hasn't found his rhythm. I've watched him closely, and at this moment, it seems like he's struggling to make an impression. However, the reporter also cautioned that while Shedeur's OTA performance is impressive, the real test lies ahead. The complete training, sessions in the summer, that's where reputations are made or broken, he said. If Shedeur wants to lock in that starting spot, he has to keep this momentum going and elevate even further when it really counts. So while Dillon may be fading, Shedeur's rise is far from complete. The summer will decide if the rookie sensation truly claims the throne, or if this is just the beginning of an even bigger battle. Sports journalist Nick Wright didn't hold back in his assessment of the Browns' quarterback race. Speaking candidly, Wright argued that putting Dillon Gabriel ahead of Shedeur Sanders simply doesn't make sense. Not based on performance, potential, or even past game film. Shedeur deserves to be there, Wright stated firmly. He's earned it, with how he's been playing. I've watched enough of Dillon's games, and not for a single moment did I think, yeah, this guy's gonna lead the first team in Cleveland.
Dillon Gabriel is, to my eye, and I'm not a scout, and I'm not gonna act like I'm watching a dozen Oregon games a year, but I watched enough Oregon where at no point was I like, oh, that Oregon quarterback, feel like he's a future NFL starter, and nobody did. I don't think Dillon Gabriel did, which is one of the reasons they said they liked him in the interviews so much, or some of the reporting was, because he was all in on like, I'm going to be so good in your quarterback room. I'm going to help your starter get ready. I know it's a long process for me, which is very commendable and got him drafted higher than most people expected.
Shedeur Sanders is making waves in Cleveland, and not just through highlight throws or media hype. He's doing it with consistent, efficient performances that are hard to ignore. Every rep at OTAs, every snap in minicamp, and every whispered conversation in the locker room is pointing toward one undeniable truth. Shedeur is not just competing, he's rising. What makes his trajectory even more impressive is the complete package he brings to the table. He's shown precision in his passing, sharp football IQ in tight situations, and a unique ability to stretch the field and open up new options in Cleveland's offensive playbook. While other young quarterbacks are still trying to find their footing, Shedeur is already looking like he belongs. Critics, analysts, and even former players are beginning to align on one thought: he might just be the Browns' best-kept secret. His current form carries over. There's every reason to believe he could land in the first team sooner rather than later. The Browns need a playmaker, a leader, and someone who can elevate the offense to the next level. Shedeur Sanders is checking every box, and at this pace, he's not just knocking on the door, he's ready to walk through it. But here's the real question. Do you think Shedeur Sanders is truly that good, or is this just another case of preseason hype getting out of hand? Is his standout performance in OTAs enough to warrant all this buzz, or are we getting ahead of ourselves? With veterans and other young talents already in the mix, should the Browns really consider making Shedeur the first choice quarterback? This early? Tell us what you think in the comment section below. Has Shedeur earned his spot, or does he still have more to prove before stepping into that QB1 role? We're eager to hear your thoughts.